Meantime, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is denying any role in pushing the 2020 letter that aimed to discredit the New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop in an exclusive interview with our own Ben Hall.
Can you explain what your role was in that and if you incentivized it?
Well, first, one of the great benefits of this job is that I don't do politics and don't engage in it. But with regard to that letter, I didn't, wasn't my idea, didn't ask for it, didn't solicit it, and I think the testimony that the former Deputy Director of the CIA, Mike Morrell, put forward confirms that.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha joins us now. Joe, pretty bold strategy there by Blinken to invoke Morrell, who testified that Blinken was the impetus for the letter. Blinken says he wasn't. One of them's lying. Which one is it, Joe?
A bold strategy, Todd. Let's see if it works out for him. Yeah, look, Antony Blinken is classic D.C. swamp, right? And that answer is so Exhibit A. Blinken says what? He doesn't engage in politics? Sir, you literally worked for the Biden campaign to get this job as Secretary of State. Mike Morrell's testimony shows that you were the impetus behind that letter from those 51 highly partisan former intelligence officials that insisted Hunter Biden's laptop was disinformation planted by the Kremlin. And when Blinken was asked by Benjamin Hall if he would finally admit the laptop was not Russian disinformation, but absolutely real, belonged to Hunter Biden, as did the contents, he, of course, ducked that question as well, saying, oh, I'm not political. I really can't comment on that. Oh, please. And since we have a media, by the way, that is compliant and serves at the pleasure of this administration for the most part, he's not going to be asked this question again in any way, shape, or form by other news organizations, Ashley, and therefore will get away with it.
I mean, and that was kind of my next question. I mean, do you think that we're even going to see anything come of this? But Blinken repeatedly said he never emailed Hunter Biden, but messages from 2015, that was May of 2015, by the way, show an exchange between the two attempting to schedule a meeting. So this implicates him because he's saying one thing and then receipts are showing the complete opposite.
That's the thing. This isn't a he said, she said sort of thing. Sources close to the Secretary of State say, or vice versa, like we saw so much during the Trump administration. There are actual receipts here, just like with Hunter Biden's laptop, just like with the bank receipts, actual receipts here with Antony Blinken as it pertains to his role in terms of shaping a narrative that turned out to be one of the biggest acts of media malfeasance, both traditional media and social media, that we have ever seen. So he won't be pressed on it by other media organizations. But there is a House of Representatives that is controlled by Republicans. I would hope that they would bring him up there and have him testify under oath about this, because he's not going to be able to squirm out of this. I have a feeling if he's up there for hours and hours on end, and they literally put up on the screen the emails that he wrote and are his, Todd.
Now let's go to sports, and we should be talking about Joe and my New Jersey Devils beating the New York Rangers in 7. But instead, we have to talk about this. ESPN personalities Bomani Jones and Dominique Foxworth had an interesting exchange yesterday about the National Football League. Watch.
There's going to be some rule changes in the NFL. Who are the first 3 quarterbacks drafted in this draft? Black dudes. You might be listening to this and thinking that Dominique is arguing that the NFL is just flat out, I hate black people racist. No, it's a different type of racism. It's because they think that you are I hate black people type of racist.
The secret sauce for viewership is white.
So to review, ESPN once again injecting race into a discussion where it doesn't exist, basically implying that the NFL is going to change the rules to hurt black players to help white players. Joe, what's your take on that?
It's unbelievable, guys. I mean, there was a poll that came out yesterday from the Associated Press, and it speaks to this kind of rhetoric. And it found that 74% of adults believe the media was increasing divide in this country. Imagine that. 3 in 4 adults say the media isn't informing so much as it is dividing. So when these two ESPN commentators make such an unfounded and divisive comment, it only underscores the perception. Do you think the NBA cared when Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, Shaq, LeBron, Steph Curry February became the biggest attractions to its product. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles is currently the NFL's highest paid player. His run to the Super Bowl and leading the Eagles was incredible. Just as Patrick Mahomes turning the Kansas City Chiefs, Ashley, congratulations again, into a mini dynasty in going to the Super Bowl 3 of the last 4 years. They've won 2. Incredible stories. Ratings for the Super Bowl in February featuring 2 men of color at quarterback was among the highest ever in the league. So when these 2 guys, you know what, they should take 2 seats here and stopping to attempt to play the race card from the bottom of the deck with this kind of rhetoric. But don't expect ESPN, by the way, to reprimand them in any way, shape, or form. Executives there fear being portrayed as racist themselves if they remotely speak up and say, guys, cool it. This is not right.
Real sports fans could not care less what the race of any of their players are. All they want is wins. Joe Concha representing the New Jersey Devils in their big win yesterday. Patrick Warburton Putty is happy as well today. Joe, thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.